If you thought Terraria was innocent, you may want to think again. You decide to start a new Terraria world out of sheer boredom, and oh boy is it glorious. You stay up until 3 a.m., build cool bases, go mining for hours just to search for that magic mirror and get mad for that 300th step stool. All you're thinking is getting the strongest build for that current stage. And yes, we were all searching up the strongest build on YouTube. I would bet a lot that almost nobody has done a blind playthrough. I mean, it was honestly a sickness. I personally would go to sleep late just to wake up early just to play. But then right around 2 weeks later, I just wouldn't be bothered to play. Today, I will be diving into the psychology of why our brains get so incredibly addicted to Terraria, and more importantly, why we all suddenly burn out and abandon our worlds. To understand why we quit, we first have to look at why we got addicted. Every survival game starts with a rapid fire progression system. People think dopamine is the happy chemical, but in psychology, it's actually the motivation chemical. It's the drive that makes you seek out rewards. Every single time you explore a new part of the map, there's a micro chance you find a heart crystal, a glowing mushroom biome, or a chest. This randomized reward system is the exact same psychological hook used in slot machines. Your brain is constantly balancing short-term random rewards with long-term structured goals. When you find Hermes boots, the thing that is in the back of your mind is progression, and you are naturally happy, since now you can combine them with the rocket boots you bought earlier, knowing that you will want to make Terra Spark boots in the end. It's an endless drip feed sort of accomplishment, which other items have similar effects feeding into that cycle. But you eventually hit what psychologists call a progression cliff. You reach a point in the game where you already got the easy stuff. The end goal shifts dramatically, and instead of just exploring to find loot, you now have to grind hours for it. And man, I hate the dungeon. The amount of effort required to get that next dopamine hit becomes so overwhelmingly high that your brain literally calculates that the reward is no longer worth the energy. So you just give up. Now, what I am about to mention is one of the biggest psychological pits, AFK farms. When a task is perfectly balanced between being too easy and too hard, you enter the flow state. Terraria forces your brain to stay highly engaged by making you constantly research wiki pages, optimize accessories, and build massive arenas. But players inevitably try to outsmart the system. Let's say you are trying to perfect a ranger or melee build in Terraria, and you need an item with a ridiculously low drop chance, like the Rod of Discord. Instead of fighting enemies normally, you spend 6 hours making traps, pouring lava, and building massive automated AFK farms. Your brain tricks you into thinking that the reward will be the best part, but psychologically, the human brain loves the process of optimizing. The flow state comes from spending all of that time building the farm. It's kind of like buying something you really wanted, but you couldn't. So you're really interested, but when you actually got the item, you rapidly lose interest. The second the farm is finished, you get your item, you finally have the ultimate ranger build, but nothing left to use it on. You optimize the fun out of the game, and the challenge is gone, and the dopamine just shuts off. And that is the reality of the 2 week phase. Terraria is a masterpiece at hooking our brains with progression, but they simply aren't designed to last forever. They give us a massive burst of joy, force us to defeat all the bosses, and then quietly wait for us to return.